Hello everyone and welcome to a beautiful all-star evening here at the Thompson Speedway. We're ready for the first of two events tonight, the All-Star Open. These 21 drivers will be fighting for the final 6 spots to get into the All-Star race. 5 of them will race their way in, 1 comes down to the fan vote. Carson Bowers starting on pole, 2/10 up over Irving Allison, who starts in second. Sebastian Kukulon and Kyle Corbett round out row 2. Stephen Wallace Jr., Gatlin Downey, row 3. Jacob Edson, Logan Cloud, row 4. And here is Jose Perez in the 35. He is making his first start since Kentucky when he was injured in that crash in about the mid-season. He is back in this 35 car as Gatlin Downey is with HBP. And Matthew Eves rounds out your top 10. Riley Spurley to Bobo Jones in row 6. William Duncan, Alex Banyako, row 7. KT Larson, DJ Curtis, row 8. Joseph Strigley, Vince Freeze, row 9. Aiden Smith, John Dilks, row 10. And Ryan Butcher, who scraped the outside wall coming out of 4 on his qualifying lap, will start from the back of the grid. He rolls off in 21st. We are at the Thompson Speedway as kind of an unplanned event. This was not supposed to happen in the offseason until the week after the championship race. The late models began for the NSDCA, letting some new rookies get in there and try to get themselves spots in higher tier series. While those races were absolutely entertaining, we had a sold-out crowd. The crowd was on their feet as we had 2 photo finishes, and especially a photo finish in the main event. These guys saw Thompson, they saw the success, and they're bringing the cup cars out here for this one-off all-star race. We'll see how this weekend goes, and maybe, just maybe, we'll be back for another all-star race. But the format is as follows. You have these 21 drivers fighting for 6 spots. Segment 1 will be the first 10 laps, green flag or not, but it'll start on lap 1 and go until lap 10. Whoever is leading at the end of lap 10 will advance and be able to park their car, not have to race in the rest of the All-Star Open. Then, when we go back racing, as soon as we go back racing, that starts the counter for another 10 laps, caution or not, or green flag or not, for the next driver in segment 2. Whoever is the highest up in that group will win and get into the All-Star race and park their car. Then, however many laps are left, it could be 20, could be 25. We'll mention that as we go if it does happen tonight, but it is scheduled for 20 laps at minimum. That means you will have many drivers here, 3 as a matter of fact, fighting their way through segment number 3 into the show. Then the fan vote will go to whoever had the most fan votes. The only thing is with the fan vote, if you raced your way in, you're not eligible for it because you're in the show. And if you finish off the lead lap or out of the race, you are ineligible for the fan vote. They also have to be able to repair their cars. We're going to go get ready for the green flag here for 50 laps at Thompson. Let's go head down trackside for the fans to fire the engines here at the All-Star Open.
Drivers, start your engines.
With that, the engines are fired. We are ready to go racing here at Thompson for these 50 laps. Segment 1 will end at the end of lap number 10, no matter what happens, whether it's green or yellow leading up to it. So, 10 laps. You're going for as many spots as you can, but the only position that matters is P1 at the end of lap number 10. Bowers versus Irving Allison leading them down. Green flags in the air, and we're racing in segment 1 of the All-Star Open. The whole field coming through turns 1 and 2 early as Bowers now, Stephen Wallace Jr., Edson into the grass down the back straightaway, and now SWJ's throwing it up the inside on Kukulon. Wants that spot away. Edson flying back into the pack. Now Perez, Cloud might have gotten a piece of the wall back there. They're all pushing on each other on this opening lap, but we are green for lap 1. Now, will they make it to lap 10 without incident? Corbett all over the back of Irving, sideways there, 3 wide coming down the back for the race lead. And you got to make sure everyone stays clean. Look at Ryan Butcher in the 83. 4 wide in the back with Banyako, Duncan sideways, Butcher's in it, and they're all spinning down the front straightaway. Caution is out in the opening stage as they're 3 wide for the lead. Here comes Corbett now. Who will lead it back to the line? Irving Allison versus Kyle Corbett as Bowers drops to 3rd. Corbett throws it in that 61. Can he get the spot away from Irving? Coming back to the line for lap number 3. Corbett leads him back across, and it doesn't look like anyone else is involved in anything. So we will rack them back up and go racing. The pace laps here at Thompson, 5 laps about. So you run those 4 laps with the lights on, then the lights go off, and you restart 5 laps after. So we're looking at possibly a 1-lap dash or a 2-lap dash. 1 or 2-lap dash to decide segment 1. But it is Kyle Corbett now in the race lead in the 61. Irving Allison second, Carson Bowers third. And some cars damaged in the back. DJ Curtis, Ryan butchered here at the back. William Duncan as well. So we're going to go ahead, get a quick replay. Bring us back to the action, see how many laps we will have left at the end of segment 1. This happens almost a lap earlier. Watch William Duncan getting pushed up by Larson up there. Strigley on the bottom. They're making contact there already. Benyako, Curtis bounces off the wall. Now they're 4 wide, and you're going crazy here to short track. Now Butcher's right on the bottom. He's going to get up into Duncan, pushes Duncan into Benyako. There's just no room here, and they all kind of accordion together, and that's 3 Toyotas going around down this front straightaway. And Butcher, who had a bad qualifying performance, is now going to be even worse with some damage to that 83 car. We're going to go ahead and get you guys back to the action here in the All-Star Open for the conclusion of segment 1. With that, the lights on the pace car have gone out. We will have a 2-lap dash to decide the winner of segment number 1 and who gets to advance right in to the All-Star race. It is Kyle Corbett on up front with Irving Allison second, Carson Bowers third, Sebastian Kukul on fourth, Stephen Wallace Jr. back to fifth, Jacob Edson sixth, Gatlin Downey seventh, Jose Perez eighth, Riley Spurry Tube ninth, Matthew Eves 10th. 2-lap dash, you're probably not going to see many others outside of the top 5 be able to contend. I'd say Irving Allison, Carson Bowers, depending on the restart they get, could be what could stop Corbett, but a good restart from Corbett could get him into the show. Coming down into the restart zone, we're going back racing here at Thompson. Green flag's back in the air, and what a jump Kyle Corbett gets on the field over Allison and Bowers, and here they go into 1, and they're all going to follow him up the cliff now as Bowers is going to look for that second spot on Irving Allison. If they can't get Corbett in this next lap, the caution's going to come out as soon as John Dilks crosses the line because, of course, the rule is race back to the caution flag. So here they go down the front stretch. Final time here in segment number 1 against Kyle Corbett. Bowers and Irving Allison now making some contact there as they're going to race back to the stripe. For the end of segment 1, Kyle Corbett trying to race this Hagen Enterprises 61 into the show. Bowers is not going to get there. Coming out of 4, segment 1 is going to go to the underdog. Kyle Corbett will race his way in to the All-Star race. What a job by the 61 team. Got him up to the front. Started this race 4th, and you see pulling down pit road because he is into the show. He could park that car safely and get it prepared for the All-Star race that'll come up in a couple hours' time. So the 61, congratulations to Kyle Corbett getting this 61 car into the show. That's going to put Bowers, Irving Allison, Kukul, Stephen Wallace Jr., and Jacob Edson your top 5. We'll get you guys back to the live action for the restart here at Thompson. Coming out of turn number 4 here, lights on the pace car should go off this time around. And that they do. So we will be going back racing on lap number 16. That means lap 25. The conclusion of lap 25 will end segment number 2. That's another 10-lap dash. So Carson Bowers, your race leader. Irving Allison in 2nd. Sebastian Kukul on 3rd. Stephen Wallace Jr. 4th. Jacob Edson in 5th. Gatlin Downey 6th. Jose Perez 7th. Logan Cloud 8th. Matthew Eves 9th. Riley Spurley Tube 10th. Everyone else, really, if you're at the back of the pack now, it's going to take a major issue from the guys up front to get you back into this fight. So some drivers might be just hoping and praying for an all-star vote or the fan vote to get in. Carson Bowers in the 25 leading us down. We will go ahead and race until lap number 26. The winner of segment 2 also advances into the show. Green flag is out, and we're racing once again at Thompson. Now Bowers out in front. Can Irving do what Bowers did on that last restart? Stephen Wallace Jr. and Edson. Again, SWJ almost into the grass down the back. He's going to look and try to go defensive. Now slides it up right into Kukulon, and there they go. The 12 and 65 into the wall as the rest of the field slides on by. And that's going to be another caution out here in the All-Star Open. And Carson Bowers continues to lead this race. So now we will have probably another few caution laps, and we will go back racing most likely for about 3 or 4 laps. more laps in this event. And I don't think Kukulon is going to take that too kindly. You see him just pulling up behind SWJ. None too happy. And SWJ, just because you get turned almost into the grass doesn't mean you can just floor it into the corner. And he and Kukulon, heavy damage to those cars. Now Kukulon might have to fall back and hope on the fan vote now in that 12 car. He's a popular driver, but you also got guys like William Duncan, DJ Curtis, Ryan Butcher, Riley Spurleytube, Logan Cloud, Jose Perez are all in that final round of voting. So, you know, you have to just hope now you can race your way back up. But Kukulon not happy at all with SWJ. We're gonna go ahead, get a quick replay. So you got see what happened to bring out the second caution of the day. We're going to look right off this restart. Jacob Edson in the 82 is going to look right to the bottom of SWJ right here and is just going to hook him. Now he's on the bottom and he's staying in it, so I don't know why you wouldn't go back up the track here, but he fully sends it in right into Kukulon and they just snap around on him. Some big damage to the rear of both that 65 and 12, and now you see SWJ is going to try to beat Kukulon back to the line, and Sebi not too happy with it. They drag race. Looked like SWJ must have gotten the nod, but Kukulon not happy on the radio at the 65. Both of these guys were inside the top 5, could have raced their way into segment 3, and now they're going to have to get these damaged cars as he goes right into the back of SWJ there. Not too happy on the radio with him. We'll bring you guys back to the action here for the conclusion of segment 2. Lights go out that time. We'll be going back racing on lap 22. Remember, it is until the conclusion of lap 25, so we will have 4 laps to decide the race winner here, or the segment winner here. And again, only the first position matters in this segment. Segment 3 is when the top 3 spots matter, and you have less cars on the track. If you notice on the ticker at the top, it does say the 61 is retired. That is because if you just tuned in, Kyle Corbett won segment number 1, was able to park that car, not have to race the rest of the race. In case he tore up that car, he will start 13th. And Carson Bowers, if he wins this segment, will start this race 14th in the All-Star race. Coming down the front straightaway, we're going back racing again. Green flag's in the air, and Bowers gets another jump over the 30 of Irving Allison. Oh, but Bowers cooks those tires up the track. Here we go now. Spurleytube sideways, and he's turned in front of the field. Heavy damage to the 28 car as he goes sliding. Caution is back out. That's most likely going to end the All-Star Open segment 2 right there. And it will be Carson Bowers fighting back as Irving Allison gets turned by Jacob Edson down the front straightaway. And that's the second car Edson's got into, and that is a teammate there in the 30. Irving Allison tore up that 30 car. And now Bowers is going to be able, he still has to make it to lap 25 before they can call that car in, but man, these guys are racing very hard for these spots here, and that is big. Riley Spurleytube with some heavy damage. Irving Allison moving his way through. He's going to give Butcher a little nod. I don't think he's too happy with any of SBR right now. He's all over the back of Bobo Jones trying to get by him. Irving did cross the line ahead of Edson, so Irving does get second there. But that does mean right now Bowers still has to make it to lap 25 and cross the line. To start lap 26, he will be in. But as we were saying here, we said the final segment could be a bit longer, and the NSDCA made the ruling. This is an all-star race, so, you know, gimmick it up. There's really no reason. It's a regular race, and they're still going to be fighting for tooth and nail, but they have stages in here. They have segments. They want to make this interesting for the fans. So what they are going to do, instead of throwing more caution laps to get to a certain length, as you see we're on the final lap of the segment here, whenever this goes green after this caution segment, that will give us the all clear to go racing. So it will be just over 20 laps. Probably about 21, 22 laps for the final segment to race in. And that'll be your top 3 spots. So that's why we said earlier, it's a 20-lap minimum for the final segment, but it could be longer. And with a caution coming out just before it, we're not going to throw extra caution laps and make these fans wait around for more pace laps for really nothing. We're going to get these guys racing, and it's going to be Carson Bowers in the 25, the Aflac Dodge. For Anj Auto, he's had a heartbreaking season with 0 wins, but some great top 2 finishes. And he's going to go ahead and take segment number 2. Carson Bowers takes segment 2. and he will advance himself as the second driver into the All-Star race. So we're going to go ahead, get a quick replay as they park the 25, and we will go ahead, get ready for the remainder of this event and segment 3 beginning shortly at Thompson. We're looking here. Spurley Tube's inside the top 10. He's going to get pinched between Joseph, Strigley, and Eves, and Strigley's just going to stay on him, turns him across. Bobo gets a piece of it. Doesn't look like anyone else does. Dilks has some front-end damage in that 51, but that's just because he's at the back, too. Spurley Tube, heavy damage to that 28 car. And then we're coming back to the caution. This could be for the top 3 spots in segment 3 starting off, and Edson and Irving just get together. Edson turns that 30 across. He's going to restart this on the front for segment 3, but that is some heavy damage to the 30 car. And Irving Allison, who was just tossed into the wall, he will be restarting this race from the front position for segment 3. We're going to go ahead and get you guys back to the action here as we are ready to begin that final segment to get those 4 final drivers into the All-Star race. As you see there, Carson Bowers parks that number 25, and we will be going back racing. So we will have 23 laps left in this All-Star Open to decide it. Now, this is just race to the end. It's like any other race. From here until lap 50 or longer, it's whoever crosses the line after under that checkered flag is the top 3 positions. So right now, currently, Irving Allison, Jacob Edson, Gatlin Downey sit in those 3 positions. But you got Perez, Cloud, Eves, Strigley, Larson back there, all trying to get themselves in. Let's see if we can get some green flag action here, though. Irving Allison very damaged in that 30 car. We'll see if he can stay up here. Green flags in the air, and we're racing once again at Thompson. 19 cars left on the track. Here we go. Strigley already making a move. Curtis and someone else was 3 wide further back, but now Edson is going to push that 82 up front. He's already gotten into multiple cars today as he pushes Irving up the track, and here we go. 3 wide. They're door banging for the transfer spot as Gatlin Downey in the 06 wants the spot away from Edson, Perez, Cloud, and Irving making contact. Here comes Edson right back on the outside, and look at Joseph Strigley in the 63. Can he race his way into the All-Star race? DJ Curtis just punted Bobo Jones out of the way as he looks for that spot. Again, only the top 3 spots matter, and now we are racing for everything. Cloud to the inside of Edson. Irving Allison dropping back. That's going to kick him out of the All-Star race. That car is very damaged. Cloud is now into second over Jacob Edson. Perez and Strigley fight for that 4th and 5th position. Strigley is not in the fan vote, nor is KT Larson or Bobo Jones or Aiden Smith. You know, a lot of these drivers now have to rely on themselves racing their way into the show. And Gatlin Downey's not in that final round either as he goes up the track. Now Edson there. Here comes Strigley to the bottom. This is for the transfer spot into the All-Star race. And here comes Joseph Strigley throwing it up the inside. 3 wide for that transfer spot as they come out of the corner. Perez and Edson into the wall. Perez around in front of the field. And we're going to be under another caution. Irving Allison even more torn up. Now Duncan trying to get through. A lot of cars just stacked up there. Eves and Kukalon not having a good day. They're fighting each other now at the back. And we got a ton of torn up race cars. Gatlin Downey, Logan Cloud, and now Joseph Strigley, your top 3. And if you are anywhere near Jacob Edson, you're getting punted into the wall. He's looking like another SBR driver earlier this season as he has now taken out his 3rd contender in this All-Star race, and that is Jose Perez. Irving Allison, that 30 car is very, very torn up. Looks like they're probably just going to have to park it. I don't think he's going to have enough to make it in that 30. And Irving is not in the fan vote. Neither is John Dilks. Both those cars very torn up. So now we continue along. It's going to be regular pace laps. Again, it's till lap 50 or green-white checkered if it's longer, but the scheduled distance is to lap 50. We currently have Gatlin Downey, Logan Cloud, and Joseph Strigley, your top 3, in the final segment. I don't know who could have predicted that. DJ Curtis is up here in 6th, Ryan Butcher 8th, so don't count those 2. Stephen Wallace Jr. back to 9th, so we're going to go ahead and get a quick replay, bring you guys right back to the action here so we can talk a bit more about this final segment. This starts a while back. Logan Cloud, Downey go wide. Edson throws it up the middle, gets a little sideways. Now Strigley's underneath them. Now they're going to be heading into turn number 3, 3 wide for the final transfer spot. Strigley pushes Edson up a little bit, but now Edson just hooks with Perez. They get together. Perez goes spinning. And now you see Irving really nowhere to go as he gets pushed into it, as you saw John Dilks just pile into it into the back of Spurley Tube. So a ton of cars damaged up there. And Jose Perez in his comeback race does not look like he's going to make the show unless he can snag that all-important fan vote to make it. We're going to go ahead and get you guys back to the action here at Thompson. Field paces down the back straightaway. We still got a lot of racing left to go. We'll be 16 to go next time by. 2 cars out of this one. That's Kyle Corbett, Carson Bowers, who have raced their way into the show. They will start 13th and 14th. Gatlin Downey, Logan Cloud, and Joseph Strigley currently sit as the top 3 spots. Jacob Edson, who has now hit his 3rd driver today, rolls off in 4th. Bobo Jones is up to 5th in that 2 car. He does not have a chance at the fan vote. DJ Curtis is 6th after being involved in a couple scrapes. He's up here. KT Larson needs to race her way in. She's 7th. Ryan Butcher is up to 8th after starting this race 21st. Stephen Wallace Jr. 9th. Vince Freeze 10th. There's Alex Benyako 11th. Riley Spurley Tube in a damaged 28 and 12th. Matthew Eves 13th. 14th Kukulon. 15th Aiden Smith. 16th Duncan. 17th John Dilks. 18th Jose Perez. 19th Irving Allison. Got a ton of torn up race cars here. That's just short track racing, and all these drivers trying to get in to those final 3 transfer spots. Remember, you have to finish on the lead lap to be able to make the All-Star race. Of course, it's about an hour between the end of the Open, the beginning of the driver intros for the All-Star race, so you have time to repair those cars if you do indeed get the fan vote being at the back there, or even you got Jacob Edson with some damage, Curtis, Stephen Wallace Jr., Butcher, they have a bit of damage. They could repair that if they race their way in as well. Gatlin Downey, Joseph Strigley are not eligible for the fan vote. They were eliminated in earlier rounds, so they are racing for their night right here. Jacob Edson also eliminated from the fan vote. Bobo Jones, the only one inside the top 5 that could theoretically still make it in without racing their way in, is Logan Cloud, but you don't want to have to rely on the fan vote. You want to show the fans that you can race your way in. And here we go. 15 to go still at Thompson. Gatlin Downey, Logan Cloud, Joseph Strigley, your top 3 in the transfer spot. Green flags back in the air, and we're racing once again in segment 3. And Edson's looking for that spot on Strigley. These two have gotten into a couple drivers today as Cloud gets a big push from the 63. Logan wants to get up there and lead this race and put himself into the All-Star race very casually and very simply. But now Strigley fighting back with Downey. Some contact there. Gatlin Downey leads, but for how long, as Strigley is all over the back of him. And again, it's the top 3 spots, so right now Strigley's still in, even if he doesn't win this race, but he wants to get away from Edson. They're 3 wide further back with Curtis, Bobo Jones, and Stephen Wallace Jr. as they head through turns 3 and 4. Coming off the corner, we're going to the wide angle shot, just making sure everyone's staying at least clean to get us to the end, as now Cloud and Strigley make some contact, and Edson's going to take advantage right to the bottom of Strigley, and Cloud gets the push as Downey goes up the track, and now Cloud's looking for the spot on Downey. 11 to go this time by at Thompson. And now Edson's back into the transfer spot is Butcher. Ryan Butcher from 21st on the grid up into the 5th spot trying to make his way in. Downey and Edson all over the back of each other as Strigley now starts to drop back into 63. Stephen Wallace Jr. 6th, Curtis 7th, Larson, Bobo Jones, Vince Freezer top 10. There's Kukulon. He has race-winning speed. He has a fast car. It's damaged up and in the pack, but he can race his way in. Now you're looking William Duncan in the 35 back there. There's Cloud, Downey, and Edson as Strigley pushed up the track. Can Ryan Butcher go from the last to 3rd challenge here to possibly race his way into the show? Now Edson on the inside of the HBP 06. It'd be very unpopular for Edson to get his 4th victim and turn around the 06 car. One of the fan favorite rides, one of the fan favorite teams in the NSDCA, as we have some chaos at the back. It's separated 2 packs. We'll get a replay of that probably at the end of the show, but that just disconnects 7 drivers from this chance at racing their way into the All-Star race. Someone spun. There's some smoke there, so it must have been something big that happened in the back. But now Edson pushing up on Downey. They're going to make some contact for that second spot as Logan Cloud begins to pull away. Wide-angle camera there shows the gap between first through to about 7th and DJ Curtis. Now you see Larson. There's Kukulon. Kukulon is on the charge through. I don't know if he has enough time, but he is driving that 12 off the rails right now in that car. Downey up the track and almost into the wall. That's going to put Downey into the final transfer spot. And now Butcher, Strigley, and SWJ come right back for it. Logan Cloud is not really pulling away, though. It's really hard to pull away at a track that has really no groove. The outside line can work, the inside line can work, but you're sliding around this track the whole time. It's really coming down to who can save tires as Cloud goes to the very top, rips the lip here at Thompson, and that brings Edson back up to his back bumper. If you win the All-Star Open, you win the All-Star Open, but it doesn't really give you anything else other than a ticket to the All-Star race, maybe 2 spots ahead of whoever finishes third. Whoever wins this race starts 15th, second is 16th, third is 17th, and the fan vote starts last. But now, Stephen Wallace Jr. to damage 65. Look at Kukulon back there at the right-hand side of your screen. He's not going to give it up, as we have now 4 laps to go, this time by at Thompson. And Stephen Wallace Jr. is trying to get that car in here. Curtis and Strigley bouncing off of each other down the front straightaway. Now Joseph Strigley, he has to white-knuckle that 63. It's not a strong car, and it's not handling well, especially with the budget that they drive, but he's up here fighting with the big dogs. Would DJ Curtis miss the All-Star race starting so far back? He's one of the fan favorites in the field, but as we look at the standings, he is nowhere near the top in fan votes. Now Edson right on the back of Cloud, 3 to go at Thompson, and Curtis down to the bottom of Stephen Wallace Jr. He heard us say he's nowhere near the top of the fan votes, and he's going for it, shoving his way into SWJ. Butcher sideways as they try to save it, and Butcher does. Curtis now into 4th. Can he race his way in? 2 to go at Thompson. If they take the white flag, they race back to the line, but if they get a caution before Cloud makes it to the white flag, they continue on. Logan Cloud trying to win the All-Star race, All-Star Open, but Curtis now looking for a shot at Downey. Here he comes to the inside. White flag is out at the Thompson Speedway in the All-Star Open. Cloud out in front. Edson looking to race his way in at second. Downey trying to be the underdog story. Strigley throwing it in now. Coming down the back straightaway. Cloud is pulled away. It's his race to lose. Edson's clearing to second. Downey versus Curtis versus Butcher. Coming off of the corner. It's going to be a drag race coming to the line. Photo finish. Gatlin Downey makes his way into the All-Star race for Harmon Benning Peterson. With him, Jacob Edson and Logan Cloud will be the race winner in the All-Star Open. We'll start this race 15th, joining the 12 race winners and chase contenders from the Sundrop Cup Series this season, not including Austin Murray, who has not entered in it, and Carson Bowers and Kyle Corbett, who have raced their way in before. Congrats to Cloud, but what a job by that 06 team to just hang on to a threat from DJ Curtis to get their way into the show. Sebastian Kukulon fights his way to 8th. Joseph Strigley was up there on the restart, doesn't stay with it. He falls back to 6th and is out. And that right there, with the final 19 drivers still on the lead lap, one driver is going to have to repair their car a lot. With a total 26 of the votes, it will be the 28 of Riley Spurleytube into the All-Star race on the fan vote. William Duncan is runner-up with 23 votes. Sebastian Kukulon with 22. DJ Curtis with 19. And SWJ with 16. So that's your field for the All-Star Open, or for the All-Star race. We have the 12 that set themselves from qualifying, the 12 that were locked in. It will be Kyle Corbett starting 13th, Carson Bowers starting 14th, Logan Cloud 15th, Jacob Edson 16th, Gatlin Downey 17th, and Riley Spurleytube in a beat-up number 28. He's going to have to run his way in that 18th position. An exciting All-Star Open leads us into the All-Star race with a much wilder format and is sure to be exciting under the lights here at Thompson. We'll go ahead and come back in about an hour's time for the All-Star race. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we will see you guys at the All-Star race here on the NSDCA.